Welcome, one and all. I'm KC.
And I am DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen, bringing to you this and every week a celebration of all things weaponized autists, weaponized weapons, and autists with weapons.
All three of them.
And consistently. Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com to vote on the gentleman, as well as find a link to our Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon. You can also get access into our live Discord during all free and bonus episodes. Ladies of the Night returns this coming Thursday, and I could not be more excited. Normally I'd ask you to read back the minutes, but we didn't have really a meeting for 3 weeks, so read back the minutes to last month's meeting, if you would.
There you go. So, as you know, we had Jesus the Christ. Voted totally a gentleman. He's the Lord. What do you want? Plus affinity. Who gives a fuck? And Hitler voted not a gentleman to the tune of minus 6 million. Something like that. Give or take 6 million.
Somewhere around there for sure.
Somewhere around there for sure. Just as a little bit of a recap for those who are joining in season 2. I don't know why you would do that because this is a podcast and there's really only 50 episodes. What do you fucking, got a job or something? The top 3 for season 1 ending Donald Trump plus 92. You love to see it. Ultimate Gentleman. And Frozen there for the rest of season 2. As we go along, we will be taking off 2 gentlemen from the year prior. Oh, so we get to revisit week 1 a little bit and find out how those fucks Dan and Kevin are making out. Mel Gibson, number 2. Your boy at plus 89, and Brigham Young, apparently my boy, at plus 83. So those are the top 3. Casey, you want to give the bottom 3 a little bit of a check-in? Give them a reminder.
I think everybody knows. Jonathan Yaniv at minus 173. Joe Biden at minus 213. And good luck ever dethroning the ultimate miscreant. Minus 409 for Tommy Tutor.
Casey, I wish I had a Tommy Tutor update as funny as the second worst Joe Biden update that I've got for the folks. But I don't. I do have a Joe Biden one, though. Casey, if you'll roll the beginning of my video, I've got 2 gentleman updates, and one of them is mine, Joe Biden. The other one is yours. Formerly third worst. We'll get to him.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No. It is not. It is not inevitable.
Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
That didn't go well.
No,
that was July 8th. That was July 8th he said all that.
Long time ago, to be fair. Long time ago.
That was like 4 days ago, dude. It was like 4 days ago, man. So he's not doing great.
Why did the Taliban like the Zach Wilson song? That's strange.
I don't know. The song they were dancing to was stupid. And also probably not the actual song they were dancing to. So I was like, I'm going to spice this up a little bit. Football's starting. BYU still sucks. So why don't we put that in there? Casey, I alluded to him before. Former third worst. There's a few people that held that spot. Maddox, Russell Greer held that spot. Darkside Phil held that spot. All those gentlemen were mine, though. Yours was Jake Paul.
Yep.
Casey, I'm sure that Jake Paul just recently won another fight against washed up. I would call him
Woodley,
washed
right?
up. Woodley, yep. Won in a split decision, but still won anyway. And for some reason, this person on Instagram named Dave the Creator or Adam the Creator, he makes memes and shit like that. He decided to take Jake Paul and make him old, or maybe Jake Paul did it on a Snapchat filter or something and made himself look old. But he did the Wheel of Fortune before and after with Jake Paul, because Jake Paul old kind of looks like Paul McCartney. So this next image KC, was what I found on Instagram for your boy.
Oh no.
He kind of does look like Paul McCartney, and it's a funny play on words, Jake Paul McCartney. But there was one that I really wanted to see a lot more, both in meme and in real life. Next image, Casey. Jake Paul Walker. Man, that would have been so much funnier, right? Jake Paul Walker, do you get it?
Yeah, I got that one, DC.
So that's an update I wish happened.
I have one gentleman update, but as always, I snuck it into my honoraries. So
Okay.
we'll get to it.
Perfect. Then without further ado, KC, I'd like to retire my week one gentleman, Kevin, who I don't think has been doing shit for like the last year. I tried to look into it, and no idea.
Pretty sure no one knows he exists beyond the people that knew 1 year ago. I would argue that maybe less, actually, know who he is. My update, I believe Dan was further excommunicated from the Mormon Church in the last year. I think that they've written new bylaws in order to distance him further. But aside from that, no, again, probably doing a mediocre job and not trying as hard as he could, I would imagine. And that's,
I would imagine that's probably a pretty good guess, Casey. Failing upwards. Here's to it.
That's right. DC, it is your open tonight. The first gentleman nomination of season 2. I could not be more excited to find out who it is.
Casey, I wanted to steal a play from your playbook. I'm going with a YouTuber. This man is a Canadian. He was born in, I don't know, who the hell knows, up there, in 1962. He moved around with his family to Alberta and Ontario and all the other ones, probably. And I think that's like Canada policy. Like, you have to live, they just shift you around, and you live in someone else's house, and you report back on them, like if they kept the house clean or not. And if they didn't, then the Canadian Gestapo go out and they would like make them cookies or something, or whatever Canada does to punish their citizens.
They admonish them lightly.
Yeah. They clean it for them, and they say, see how easy that was? Please, will you do that next time? No, okay, I'll be back.
Explain perfectly how to do it right.
Right. So this gentleman of mine ended up at the University of Toronto. He was a PhD in psychology. He studied and did research at Harvard after he got his PhD. So he did spend a little bit of time in the States, and then went up as a professor in Toronto. And in 2016, when Canada was starting to implement these free speech regulations, my gentleman put out a series of YouTube clips on some lectures that he had on the psychology of these PC
now
psycho-leftists. Are
you confused? You said this was a YouTuber, but now it sounds like they seem like well-researched and smart. Did you mean Vine? They don't have a PhD, right? They started on Vine.
That's definitely had a PhD. Put out some videos.
YouTubers are spawned, DC. I don't know what you're... There is no other kind.
Casey, without further ado, my gentleman is Jordan B. Peterson. This man is my hero. He's so fucking funny. And funny in... I like the reactions of the people he talks to, because he's not necessarily funny. He's just spouting truth and obviousnesses. I mean, it's just there's nothing else to really say. But the people's reaction to it and the way he just bluntly says it is something I think we should all strive towards. So Casey, after he had put out and getting addicted to Xanny and having a daughter in pornography and all the other things that you strive to do in life. But after he put out all his YouTube clips, students, obviously in his classes probably heard about it first, and then they told others, like, oh, you got to hear this professor of mine. He doesn't give a fuck, And this is Canada. This is where they're like, you hurt somebody's feelings, you go to jail for a year. you know.
Yeah, I think that's Australia now, but yeah.
Oh God, yeah. No, your house is jail. Everybody is in jail in Australia now, dude. If you travel without,
unless the new jail is your jail, your house is your jail.
Yeah. Rip Australia. You gave it a good run, but you gave up your guns, and that. Oops. Oops. Now they can do whatever they want. They can tell you to do whatever they want. So after all these videos came out, he got more and more famous, and when he would give speeches, protests would happen, a la Milo Yiannopoulos and all that. And this confrontation, this short clip from this longer clip from a confrontation that he had early on, it went viral and kind of made him even more famous than he is now, or was then. Next clip.
Do you have any comments on the Nazi presence at your protest? The presence of Nazis and white supremacists assaulting people at your protest. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't like Nazis.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad. He doesn't like Nazis. It's pretty simple, pretty clear.
That's a controversial take, I think.
Yeah, it's a controversial take. He's pretty straightforward there. But more clips from other lectures and other encounters with, these campus, the campus Nazis, funny enough, came out, right? And one of the Q&As he had, I think, well, go ahead. Next clip.
Why do you feel that someone's personal gender identity and pronouns infringes your free speech? Can one not also argue, based on your interpretation, that professors can use racial slurs in their classroom and that the inability to do so would violate their freedom of speech?
Yeah, right? Soviet DC, why not make something that you should not do or say the exact same as something you must do or say? That just makes sense to me. That's just, they're the same. They're the exact same.
That's right.
Well, JPB has the answer to that, Casey. Next clip.
There's a difference between saying that there's something you can't say and saying that there are things that you have to say. And I regard these made-up pronouns, all of them, as the neologisms of radical PC authoritarians. Do you understand that? And I'm not a fan of that sort of person. And the reason I'm not a fan of that sort of person is because I've done my homework. I've read everything I can get my hands on in the development of authoritarian political systems, and I know the literature inside out and backwards. And I am not going to be a mouthpiece for language that I detest.
Aw. Sorry, Communist DC. Next time. You'll get him next
DC,
time.
Let down again.
Let down again. But dude, this guy can talk till he's blue in the face and just shuts people completely down. But Casey, a gentleman, is also concise when he needs to be. When asked, if he thought trans women are women. Well, go ahead. Play the clip.
A trans woman is a real woman.
Yeah, he said more. He said more after that. But why? Really? I mean, that's all you have to do. Quick ridicule, move along.
That was plenty. DC, get excited, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We took 3 weeks off, or 2 weeks off. We have so many language lessons coming up for you on the Ladies Show next week. I'm going to teach you all kinds of new things. You have so many new things to learn, and we might cover some of it tonight. You never know.
How many new things could they make in 3 weeks? Is this the emoji that you're talking about? Is this the new ones? Oh, God.
No. We go deeper. We go deeper than the emojis, DC. And the English language is evolving all the time, just like you and I.
Or devolving, like you and I.
or that. Or that. You could argue either, I think.
So, Casey, a gentleman knows when to be concise, but like I said, he also knows when to draw out a point ad nauseum, really, to really drive the truthfulness home. Next clip.
In people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Aha, well, so the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that, just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields.
Ah, you almost had him. Yeah, you did such a...
Bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum. Freaking dude. She's probably... I'll get him. I'll show him next time. I'm not ever coming to work without both buttons undone at the top again. I mean, I'll still undo one. Because, I mean, let's be honest, I can't give all my leverage away. But if he thinks I'm ever going to unbutton two, he's wrong. For this, this injustice will not stand.
There will be no necklace there to draw your eye line. None.
Just completely silenced when faced with any pushback at all. He gets that in spades in this next clip.
You're doing what you should do, which is digging a bit to see what the hell's going on.
Okay, see if you'll pause.
That is what you should.
Yeah.
If you'll notice here, all of his opponents and conversationalists, if you will, so far have been people of women. Have you noticed that? You know, like people of color, people of women, coined by the great Dick Masterson. It's always women that have these issues. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Go ahead.
You're doing what you should do, which is digging a bit to see what the hell's going on.
So
and that is what you should do. But you're exercising your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me. And that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
So you haven't sat there and I'm just trying to work that out. I mean,
ha, gotcha.
You have got me.
Yeah. Oh man. Wasn't expecting that.
Damn it. She should unbutton more buttons.
Yeah, she should have had her shirt off.
His point might have been worse.
God. But Casey, a gentleman is not just good at debating his points and things like that, but he also will give groundbreaking advice, like clean your fucking room.
Clean up your room. I don't know how you can go out and protest the structure of the entire economic system if you can't keep your room organized.
What are the limits of that idea, though? Because you can have a lovely clean room, but if for my generation, we're looking down the barrel of climate change, we can't afford a house, some people can't get work, university education's unaffordable. Like, there are these huge, massive problems in society and the political economy that are also going to, screw us over in the big picture that the clean room isn't going to necessarily fix.
Oh, looks like you have all the answers, Mark.
Yeah, like he took that part literally. He's like, I don't think... Now, I know cleaning your room's not an analogy for keeping your life organized. I'm not sure that doing hospital corners on your bed is going to help with your student loans. I'm not following the logic there.
Right. I don't think he got the parable of the clean your room. But Casey, Casey, why don't we just say step aside, privileged white man, right? I mean, you clearly don't understand what we're talking about here with the pressures of being oppressed as a millennial or whatever the hell he was talking about. So let's just let this nobody fat bitch do the exact same thing and make the exact same point that you were making.
The climate catastrophe, like economic crisis, like the precarious job market, because they just don't, you talk all this much about individual responsibility. Most of us are never going to be able to afford to have all of these assets to have responsibility over. So what is your advice beyond banal comments like clean your room?
Oh, snap indeed, Casey.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Somebody doesn't know how to think non-literally.
Don't you worry, Casey, because a gentleman, in answering the prior gentleman's question, will deflect such nonsense, as all these red herrings and things, and gets just straight back to the point. Next clip.
If you're going to fix complicated problems, you have to learn how to fix simple problems first.
Got it. Simple problem. One by one. Simple problems, got to fix them first. Got it. I'm on board. Let's go.
Yeah. Don't be a complete shithead all the time if you want to be efficient in any way. Yeah.
Casey, getting back to Miss Piggy, a gentleman always rises above insults to reconfirm and reaffirm his truth.
I'm not suggesting in the least, and have never suggested that there's no domain for social action. I'm suggesting that people who don't have their own houses in order should be very careful before they go about reorganizing the world.
Oh, that was like a bigger thing he was talking about. Like, you know.
Hey, don't bring Joe Biden into this. He folds up that blanket every night at 9:30 when it's time to go to bed.
Yes.
He puts it right back on the recliner when he remembers.
Over by that kid. Over by that kid over there.
He puts that blanket right over the kid.
Yep. So another Joe Biden update, speaking of kids and Biden. His kid, did you hear Hunter? I think another sex tape came out with Hunter. And he was talking about the laptop, and he was kind of worried about it. He's like, yeah, there's shit on there that, you know, would incriminate my dad and me. And then he fucks some weird Russian.
I hate it when that happens.
Killing it. He's killing it. And I thought Chelsea Clinton was the worst, but she's just the ugliest, turns out.
So you were right.
So I was half right. Casey. A gentleman is never afraid to broach tough subjects. For instance, the Army and IQ and the significance of believing whether or not IQ means that there are such things as smart and dumb people. Next clip.
One of the most terrifying statistics I ever came across was one detailing out the rationale of the United States Armed Forces for not allowing you can't induct anyone into the armed forces in the U.S. if they have an IQ of less than 83.
Oh, thank Christ. See, ladies, keeping you safe since forever. Can't get in.
God damn, that is the best news I've heard all day. That's so good to hear.
Well,
but I know a bunch of people that went into the military. That can't be true.
Yeah, next clip, Casey, because he goes on.
The armed forces concluded that if you had an IQ of 83 or less, there wasn't anything you could possibly be trained to do in the military at any level of the organization that wasn't positively counterproductive. Okay, you think, well, so what? 83? Okay. Yeah, 1 in 10. 1 in 10.
That's right, crying grad DC. It is probably higher than 1 in 10. You're right.
Yeah, probably is.
Probably a lot higher. Oh, those thumbs up? No, that's higher. So what does this mean, Casey, at the end of the day? What does this mean? Next clip.
There's no place in our cognitively complex society for 1 in 10 people.
Agreed, Round Eye.
Oh, damn it.
Agreed.
I hate it when you use the transitive property to make a good point.
Yeah. And Chinese DC thinks, again, that's probably more than 1 in 10. Doesn't have a place in society.
But you
has
can't
bad
tell
credit
his
score.
His eyebrows are hidden, so you can't really tell what he's thinking.
Yeah. No, his eyebrows are that thing underneath the brow. You can't see his eyelids.
Oh, got it.
So, Casey, a gentleman always will admit when, there's something that's lacking in his knowledge, right? Next clip.
So what are we going to do about that? The answer is no one knows.
Well, someone knows. But we all voted him not a gentleman, I guess. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Casey, a gentleman, and this is the last clip. It's one of my favorites. A gentleman always tells it straight, even to the idiot that's trying to be just agreeable and a cuck.
So it's hard to train people to become creative, adaptive, problem solvers.
It's impossible. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, kill yourself. Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah, he's great. I think I had seen the clip with the blonde before where she's just goes... Either that or she's been dumb on multiple occasions, which is also just as likely.
It's just as likely. Speaking of dumb on multiple occasions, Casey, we got some honoraries. I've got a few, maybe
Can't
5
wait.
or 6. Let's start, Casey, with some great news. You may have heard this. God ousted Cuomo and then gave New York a huge bath. Next clip. Oh, yeah. Get in there. Rinse it out. Oh, Casey. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a terrible, evil place. You imagine how many vermin drowned just from that, and all the rodents. Can you there's probably even more of those. Probably more.
At least close to equal.
At least close to equal. Casey, my honorary gentleman number 2 is it's kind of like a twofer. It's everybody's favorite segment, though. Go ahead, next clip. Oh, who gets whacked? We're going to play Who Gets Whacked. Is it the tranny approaching the old man with her pipe that she's dragging? Or is it the old man with the 2x4 who's being approached on by the tranny?
Okay, so we've seen this before, and the tranny usually has a mean streak in there. But I'm gonna say that's what happened, at least in our most recent one. I'm gonna go against my better judgment and say that the pipe is swung first, but does not connect, and the 2x4 comes back through. That's gonna be my official prediction.
Not a bad guess. Roll the clip. It was like cartoonish, so I had to play this one too, because what the fuck? How does a head make that sound off that? That's great. I love both those clips. I could play both those back to back for the rest of the time.
Effects are great. Oh,
Casey, we're going to play another game. This one's actually right up your alley. Next clip. Oh, yeah. It's breaker roulette.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
That's a big breaker, too. There's a lot of power in there.
3 big breakers. This is in Russia, so this could be actually the Russian jackass, but I had to speed things up while he's going through his progressions. But go ahead and play this through. I think this will work.
All right. Working on. Little panel pops open. Wasn't ready for that. No, you got to twist the thing at the top to keep it closed. But forget about that. That's fine.
Pound.
Yeah, just hit it.
He uses that strategy for a lot of things. There you go. 2 is whack.
Definitely be touching multiple things at the same time. That's always good because
always good.
Electrical current hates when it gets to do a loop. It hates that. It hates that. Oh, okay. Casey, what'd you do? Oh my god.
And the guy at the end said normalna. That means like, it's cool.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Totally. We did Chernobyl. This is nothing.
The dude's just gone, and there's just a fire where his body used to be on the ground.
His clothes are laying there smoking like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's fine.
Yeah. Casey, Islam is not only working its way back through Afghanistan, but the rest of the world. And I like to sleep at night knowing that Hinduism still reigns supreme wherever it goes. Next clip.
Yikes. I just like to imagine the bus driver saw it coming. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He turned a little bit into it.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And KC, if you thought that was the most painful clip, you're wrong. I ended with the most painful clip. Next clip. I think it's Chris Chan at the city pool.
Oh, that's too far up for this video. At least he got away from the sidewalk. Or at least away from the cement. Holy shit.
Yeah.
By the way, 2 thumbs up, DC. I love that image. That's great.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to use that for so much. It's just so much excitement. So, Casey, I'll hand it over to you. I'm going to drink now.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm going to see your painful clip and raise you with my second one. All right, DC, excellent job. Excellent job. That was good time. All right, for me, I've got a bunch of honoraries. Been gathering for weeks now. First up, we have a retired sheriff, a hero at his town, and he retired sometime late 2020, early 2021. And on his way out, he bought a gift for the town that he had served. And he's a hero, and the current sheriff who weighs in on the gift is a genius.
A life-size statue depicts Morgan in a sheriff uniform while standing in a saluting stance. A purchase order from Randolph Rose Collection in New York shows it's one of 3 statues the former sheriff ordered in April of 2020 for a price tag of $75,000. And copies of the checks paying the bill show the money came from the sheriff's office general fund account.
You don't typically make a statute of yourself and have the taxpayers pay for it. I think this is a bit of a waste of money.
What?
No. You don't typically do that, but this was no typical man, obviously. He has 3 statues of himself.
That's right. He's way better than the typical guy.
Right.
All right, DC number 2 for me. This honorary gentleman has finally done what we've all been hoping to do. He has figured out how to streamline the escalator down process.
Yes! I love this guy. Oh, it's classic.
So that,
yeah.
It's the after image from that excursion. Here's another hero out there fighting for the right cause.
It is exactly the example of the kinds of things you need to do to counter the she-session and turn it into a she-covery.
That's what we're all looking for.
Oh,
she-session.
God.
Take a sheet. That guy's breakfast. This is one of my favorites, DC. Now, have you seen the production footage? I'm pretty sure it's from The Hobbit, of Benedict Cumberbatch. He's wearing all like the Madden sensors, and he's doing the movements of the dragon, and he's doing some of the lines. And then they released this clip of him, like, wearing just all black, wearing these sensors, crawling around on the floor talking. And then they show the scene afterward with all the CGI added and what it eventually looked like. Have you seen that clip before?
I haven't.
Okay, so this is very cool. So again, this is Benedict Cumberbatch doing the initial part, and then the second part is with the CGI added.
I kill wherever I please, and none can stop me. I kill wherever I please, and none can stop me.
It's beautiful.
Just the greatest.
It's
He
beautiful.
really is.
Oh, man.
As long as he keeps putting out videos like that, I will keep adding them to the honoraries just so we can watch them.
He puts out videos every fucking day, and then he spams them for like a month. He's the
well,
king
luckily
of
for
it.
me, I only see it when somebody else retweets it for me. All right, DC, here it is. It's your favorite segment. It's my favorite segment. Follow along and learn. It's time for an English language update.
People who identify as Alexi-gender fall under the gender fluid umbrella, which falls under the non-binary umbrella, which falls under the trans umbrella. People who identify as Alexi-gender are fluid between different genders, but never know exactly what gender they are at a certain time. Some Alexi-gender friends, however, may understand that they feel more feminine, masculine, androgynous, or neutral at a certain time, but not the exact term for the gender that they feel. And they might not ever feel any of those things, but still not understand what that means. Either way, not every Alexi-gender friend is the same as another Alexi-gender friend. But we love other Alexi-gender friends! Yeah!
Take your fucking medicine. Take it. God.
People are storming to suicide in the chat. Yeah, it's a disaster, DC. Let's stay along the same path. Here is a big moment for a teacher, which doesn't get off to quite a flying start here.
I'm about to come out to all my students.
So I have a quick announcement for everybody. Can everybody look up from their phones? My class is important, please. Hello, I'm waiting. You guys look at me.
Hello? My class is important. Hello?
Hello?
Is anybody out there?
I will be respected.
But it works out, DC. Now please put yourself back in college and imagine this happens in class.
So I usually go by Mr. Johnson, but I would like to be called Zoa now. My name is Zoa, and I'm non-binary. So you can call me Mr. Zoa, you can call me Miss Zoa, you can call me Mix Zoa. That's MX period. And I go by all pronouns. That's it.
What? What do you mean that's it? There's so much happening there.
I go by all pronouns too. I was just thinking about that today. Yeah, the gentleman DC. On Twitter, it's very necessary that you put your pronouns so people arguing with you about your politics can know how best to insult you. So my pronouns are, of course, he, her, theirs. When it's possessive, I am multiple people. I want to have as many possessions as possible. So
sure.
And then when it's genitive case, then I am a female. Accusative case, I'm a female as well because they get away with everything. So if you have to be in the accusative case, you don't want to be a man there. You definitely want to be a she or sometimes even an it. But, you know, even the most staunch right-wing people will have some sort of decorum around women, for God's sakes. So, you know, covering your bases there.
I need to put more thought into my feelings here.
Well, you're no Alexi Gender, so I don't blame you for not knowing.
Well, I'm not sure. Now I'm confused. Maybe I might be.
Welcome to the party.
DC, here's a gentleman in the fight of his life.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. As a lot of you know, I have a 5-year-old son who is with his mother, my ex-wife, and her entire family 5 days a week while he goes to school in her district. Also, as many of you know, she and her family are all anti-vax, anti-mask. Guess what she admitted to while I was recording in my car on my property? I asked her point blank, "Are you COVID vaccinated?" She said no. I said, "Do you plan to be?" And she said, "Maybe, I don't know." She said, "Maybe, I don't know." I now have hard proof of her admitting she is not COVID vaccinated around my son and takes no precautions whatsoever. And I can subpoena video of her being in stores unvaccinated with no mask with my child. I don't know for sure, but I think this could really help my case.
I hope Tom Green gets his kid back.
I hope so too.
Do.
I hope somebody hires Tom Green so he can stop worrying about whether his kid's vaccinated and worry about how much he owes for child support.
That's right. DC, lastly, we're going to bring it back with my last honorary. Here we have a school board meeting. And for this school board meeting, anybody that wants to address the school board at any point during the meeting will submit, I assume online, especially during these dangerous times that we live in. I would imagine they go online and write, okay, I'm DC. I'd like to ask about teacher wages or whatever, about the new budget.
Here are my grievances are thus.
Mm-hmm. And then during the meeting, the superintendent or whoever this gentleman is will call your name, and then you unmute, or if you're in the building, you step up to the podium. So here we have a really weird, about half a minute or so, where the speaker, the superintendent, I'm guessing, is trying to get the next speaker to come up, but he keeps asking for people, and no one's responding. So maybe a technological issue. Who knows? But maybe we can decipher it together.
So much, Ms. Thomas. We do appreciate you. Phil McCracken. Phil McCracken. Sook Mahidik. Sook Mahidik.
What?
Ophelia McHawk. Ophelia McHawk.
Where's everybody?
Eileen Dover. Eileen Dover. Don Kiddick.
Oh, donkey dick.
Don Kiddick. Wayne Kerr. Wayne Kerr.
Wayne wasn't there either, so that was disappointing.
Oh man, how many in a row, dude? Before
so
shit.
It's so great. As soon as I had the first one, Phil McCracken, I was like, oh, this is an absolute. All right.
Oh man.
DC, it's gentleman nomination time, and you've said it best many times. You always let a gentleman introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Opie, a starving radio personality. I need TV work. Call me. This number right here, okay? Let's check out some videotape.
Gregg Opie Hughes, DC. Speaking of autists with weapons, he has a microphone, and he's a gentleman. DC. Opie, Gregg, with 2 G's, grew up in New York from a, call it middle class, he would argue below that. Loved to tell a story about bringing his lunch to school in a cement bag because they couldn't afford paper bags. So they used cement bags.
Oh, my Lord.
Which is a real story that definitely happened.
Definitely.
He went to...
Wait, hold on. Was it bags made of cement or like cement bags that had been
like a
emptied?
Quick-Crete bag that had been dumped into the wheelbarrow already.
I believe that his parents hated him enough to...
Yeah, that's... there's a lot there that we're not going to unpack today with his mother. But yeah, that's a factor. He went to SUNY Geneseo in upstate New York. Majored in broadcasting. And he is a true broadcast professional. But before we get into the life, the career, and the achievements of the great Opie, we go back to what we just saw, which was the beginning of his demo tape.
Oh, that was cringe.
Let's watch some videotape. Now, Opie was trying to make it in the radio business, and up until he could, he was taking gigs wherever he could, and all of this stuff ended up on his demo reel, which eventually was broken down on the radio show. Here he was back in the day at a television fundraiser, and you could just kind of start to see the connection and comfortability that he has relating to his audience.
And we are back at the fishbowl. Let's hear some noise in here. Come on, guys. Yeah!
Yeah! So he's...
Yeah!
Yeah! So he's pretty talented in a lot of different ways. But he had a talent that nobody really knew. Now, here's an old Opie and Anthony clip where they were watching Opie's debut back in the day as...
A clown.
Close enough, DC. A Coca-Cola t-shirt model.
That's right.
TV8 and Coca-Cola. Heat up Rochester with our Coke TBAT. TBAT and win great prizes from Silo, Sportacular, and the House of Guitars. TBAT spotters will be out daily at several Rochester area hotspots looking for you wearing your TBAT. Don't miss your chance to win big. T-shirts may be purchased at all areas of Silo, JCPenney.
They ain't over yet. Watch.
Location.
Dude, that was so bad. And the best part about it was that it was so 80s.
Oh, yeah, every ounce of it.
The director of the commercial just had to start thinking of things for them to do, which back then... Like the quality of the commercial was so shitty. Like the video quality was so shitty that like you just had to do like general actions so that the camera could pick it up. It's like walk towards each other and then just spin around and walk the other way. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, now this time just go back to back and you catch the drink. Great.
The directors were always so happy when they got a job doing a Hasbro commercial. They're like, oh, so many angles of toys. That's easy. It's the people walking around that makes it so hard.
Yeah.
So DC, all of that hard work and ability that was showing early on in his career led to an amazing radio career. Sort of. That stuff sort of led to it. So kind of what happened.
Opie always looks like he's about to get punched in the face. Like the punch has been thrown. The punch has been thrown, but he wasn't ready for it. That's what his face looks like.
That's how conversations go for him as well, actually. Somebody says something and he's never prepared.
Just get hit in the face.
So all of that stuff leads to this radio career, which actually led to 10 years of being a classic rock DJ on Long Island on a small station. But, you know, he was destined for big things. And just small detail was when this guy and his brother submit a radio parody to Opie's show because they're submitting radio parodies. This guy had also been like one of the random listeners in the studio for Howard Stern's show because he was musically talented. And Opie goes, oh, this guy's pretty funny. I'll bring him in. We'll, talk to him live on the show. And then realized he was funny and never let him leave. And that was Anthony Cumia.
Oh, man, I thought you were telling our story. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Very close. So Opster, as he came to be affectionately known, keeps Anthony. and Opie leads them both to stardom. That was what happened next. They're together in New York at first. They move up to Boston, up to.
Man, wasn't Anthony some fucking like AC repairman or something that?
Anthony was an HVAC repair guy who was married for like 8 years and like 30 at that point and miserable, and they were ready to get divorced. And
a natural comedian is what you're saying.
And yes, exactly. He spent every minute on the radio just expecting to be in an attic, as he's put it so many times, the next day. So they get up to WAAF in Boston, where the two of them just teamed up to be giant liars. These are two guys in their late 30s at that time, by this point, who are talking to an audience of teenagers, essentially. So Opie especially loved to talk in kind of a pothead voice, man. You know, like try to relate to his
from
listeners,
California, man.
Exactly.
I'm from California, bro.
They did a bit that Opie masterminded, which was fantastic, which was and this is late 90s, 97, 98, where they did a bit called The Child of the 80s. Now, mind you, I believe Opie and Anthony were both born in 1960. So not quite children of the 80s, but they did an hour taking phone calls of, Jeff Foxworthy style, you might be a child of the 80s if, which was eventually broken down by the great Sam Roberts.
You might be a child of the 80s if you do not have a savings account that is 5 or more digits.
Yeah. I think one of the ones that they got that Opie was hit with was you might be a child of the 80s if you don't have 12 years radio experience in the 90s. It's like
12 years radio experience in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So they're up in Boston, they're making it work, they're gaining an audience, they're doing some bad gigs, some good gigs. And then they get fired.
Oh.
And they get fired because on April Fool's Day, they decided to announce on the radio that Mayor Menino had been killed in a car accident when he had not been. So that'll get you fired.
Well, it's obviously falsifiable. It's not like people, that's stupid.
Yeah, just figure it out. They resurrect their careers on XM, and I say resurrect because that's what Opie would have you think happened. There at the time, no one had satellite radio. Nobody.
Right.
No one was listening to it. But the
this
show
was
dynamic.
Like, what, 2001 at the time?
Maybe 03, because they had, I think, 2 or 3 years off in between. Maybe 04, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So Howard Stern was just starting to pull people towards it, and cars had been giving it out in their new models for maybe 2 years. Nobody had it.
Yeah. And unless you were in a car, you certainly weren't listening to it.
You didn't know what to do with it.
So they're there.
Station 1000. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
What is this?
Channel what? And you have commercials. So these guys, Opie, Anthony, and Jimmy Norton was the third guy and had been since the New York days, as soon as they had gotten down to New York from NEW after their Boston firing. They are a well-oiled machine now. In the 04 to 07 range, everybody's got their role. You have Opie, captain of the ship, leading the show where it needs to go.
Setting himself up for getting ripped on hilariously for like 20, 30 minutes at a time. It just, the content writes itself out of his mouth, as I found when I was listening to him.
Yes, and you would imagine that would happen. And it does, because he takes it well and doesn't dislike when people make fun of him.
Because he does it on purpose, because he's a radio genius.
That's right. He is a genius. Yes. So you've got the captain, you've got Opie, you've got Ant, like you said, the former HVAC guy, who's just one of the naturally quickest-witted guys in history.
Right.
And Jimmy Norton, a great comedian and another amazingly funny guy. And then don't forget that Opie, just as funny as those two. So you get the captain thing, and you get the humor, and that's what you call a dual threat in the radio biz, DC.
And the non-alcohol fetal syndrome.
Yeah, that too. Let's go through some Opie highlights to pay homage to this radio legend.
Okay.
Let's talk about steering that ship to start. Here's a clip. The guys are in studio with Colin Quinn, all-time great. And they're making fun of some lady whose face looks like a horse. And they're kind of building on it, and they're adding layers of jokes. And if you didn't listen to Opie and Anthony, all it was a giant hang, typically with comedians in studio. They would get loose show prep from their producers. They did none. They did no show prep. Famously, Anthony's show prep was always listening to 10-10 Wins on the way to the studio. That was what's in the news. Okay, now let's go talk. Right? So naturally, when you're on a show like that, if there's funny happening, let it go. That's the whole. That's the whole purpose. So, Opie's great at that.
She has gigantic gums, and like if you look at her teeth and gums, there should always be more tooth, but it looks like a pink and white even separation. Like her gums are the same size as her teeth.
Way too much gums. Let's say hi to Tara. She's from New York. Tara, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good. Your girls do this all the time.
Love you guys.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Tara.
Opie might have had a problem with taking phone calls. Almost as if when he didn't feel a part of a conversation, it was time to take a phone call. But that wasn't always happen, because sometimes he would fire out good liners. Now, that was kind of a rough clip, so let's bounce back with a good one. Here's Ant and Jimmy joking around about Stevie Wonder, and Opie brings the big line here.
I think he's got a career in front of him, that little Stevie Wonder.
But behind him doesn't make any difference.
He certainly isn't blind. He's on the seafood diet.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
What's that mean?
That's the old joke. Don't see food, don't eat food. Anyway.
That was perfect. Don't
Anthony
see food, don't eat food. Oh,
Anthony
that's
always
so
says
funny. That's so funny.
Our next clip. The guys are talking movies with Patrice O'Neal. Pretty sure they're talking about Avatar. And Opie is talking about how great it is, and Patrice wants to go see it.
Because he's a child.
Of course. And
The
Opie's
3D
like,
was amazing.
It's exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. The 3D is amazing. He says to, I don't know if I kept that in there, but if I did, I hope I did now, because he says exactly those words. So he says to Patrice, let's go together. And Patrice responds how any human would, negatively. But he immediately guilts Patrice, but then shows Patrice who's the real boss around here.
You know, and it's going to be the first movie that I'm going to go see twice. I haven't seen a movie twice in theater.
You're going to see it twice?
Absolutely.
I might have to go see it. I might have
You got to go 3D.
I'm going to go 3D. I might go
How about
today.
me and you, Patrice?
No. I might go 3D. Why not?
Not today, though. I just saw it.
This nigga
set you up.
Don't set me up to reject me, bitch.
Jesus Christ.
Not today, though, Patrice.
You fucking asshole.
Don't bug me,
What's
nigga.
wrong with you?
This is what he did. He fucking gave me a pound and then told me, you're lonely.
So he's a good guy. He's fun to do radio with, and DC, a great coworker.
Yeah, I heard that.
Every year or two,
everyone speaks so highly of him that's ever worked with him.
Everyone that ever worked with him loves him. Every year or two, it would be contract renewal time. Yeah.
Gary Busey made fun of him. That was later. It's later on in his career, but I'll let you know when you get along the timeline. I'll let you know when Gary Busey made fun of him, and it will just be more sad.
Excellent. Every year or two, contract renewal time would come for Opie and Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would it come that quickly, right? Wouldn't you imagine it'd be like a 4 or 5 year deal to do your radio show? But no,
early
it'd be
extension.
1 to 2. That's right. That's what Opie wanted to do. Now, everyone else at the show just wanted to sign a long deal because the show had been fired multiple times,
right?
For all
Get
different
some
reasons.
Security. Get
But
a
Opie wanted
buyout.
Opie wanted the shorter deals, convinced that every new one would bring more money, which they probably didn't.
Yeah, gambler's fallacy.
So that's kind of annoying for the people around you, right? Not kind of knowing what's coming next. But that's actually not the case because Opie made it a very easy process. For instance, here's a clip from a couple days before their contract deadline.
Bringing out right now. I don't know if we're staying.
Did Bob talk to you at all?
No.
No?
Oh, shit.
I think he tried calling you last night or some shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're moving ahead.
Answer the phone, Opie. You gotta pick up the phone. I didn't feel like it last night.
It would be good for my family if you stayed. I think we're moving ahead.
I don't think he called me for real.
But are we staying? For rails. Did you talk to him? That's the impression I get. Did you talk to him? Yeah. Yesterday? Yeah. And then he said he was going to call you.
Oh, boy. My viral videos are not paying the bills yet.
You don't have a voice. You don't have a voicemail set up. No, I refuse.
So Opie's not going to get a voicemail. Fuck you guys. Don't worry about it. We'll sign. At least once signed the morning of the show, on the day. Keep everybody on the edge of their seat.
Right.
Now, you might be getting the impression that he's not easy to be around, and that's not the impression I want to give, because that's not true.
Okay.
Opie always manages to bring me back. I love him. And this next clip, they had this woman in. She was dropping off some kind of remember, this is a shock jock show from the 90s and 2000s. She's dropping off some they called it lesbian couch. I don't know it. I don't remember the bit. I didn't listen back then. This is too early for me. But either way, she brought some gifts into the studio, and gifts in that studio were a dangerous thing because Opie was there. And here we have a clip, and this is Opie bringing me back, because this is what I love about Opie. She has brought in for Anthony, who loves to drink and hang out with friends and do karaoke and go to the casino. She has brought in a poker set. And it's very blurry old video, but from what I can tell, this poker set probably came from whatever the 1977 version of Walmart was. Right?
Okay.
It's just not a great poker set. It's okay. Anthony's a very rich guy.
It's plastic ridged chips that teeth that stick together, so you can't twist them.
You can't twist them at all. They just get stuck. Anthony's kind of trying to be a little diplomatic, maybe we could try to find someone to give these to, because I'm not sure I would use these particular chips,
Right.
And Jimmy's egging him on a little bit. So here's what I consider to be
and Jimmy's stoking the fire.
Oh, of course. I think I left in one Jimmy line here of him stoking the flames.
I'll take them back, Anthony. Just give them to me.
Tell her. She's yelling.
Tell her.
I'm trying to be nice.
What do you mean someone...
Why am I being
You
yelled
play
at?
Texas Hold'em. Why can't you use those?
Well, they're just not quite the type of equipment I like playing with.
What kind do you like playing with? They're chips and cards.
Well, different cards and different chips.
Different
play
cards.
with different types of things. Yes, I'll pass it back to
Just
her.
give her the chips.
Just, Opie, give those to her. You ever play 52
Throw them,
card
I'm
pickup?
not gonna
Oh,
do
gee, Opie. There's no reason to heat the cards at her. Did the cards hit you? Did they?
Oh, but she got cards falling off her sleeve.
Come on. No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Opie.
He's such
So, okay,
a
was-
fucking coward. Like he
He
did
always-
it. He did it for the reaction because he knew it was like the only thing he could do that would be funny. Because that was funny. That was really really funny.
Yep.
Obviously, everyone
Oh, yeah.
in there was laughing
It's great.
except her. It's funny, but then he can't even face her. He's such a fucking coward. Like the funniest thing possible would just be to sit there, deadpan, stare her in the eyes, and just not say anything. Just. After you throw the chips right on her lap, but he hides
happened.
himself.
Now what? He hides. And that happened. There's a story that Jim Norton has told, because Opie might be more obsessed with Howard Stern than any person I can think of is obsessed with another person. He hates her. Now, Stern was kind of a dick to Opie and Anthony back in the day, but Stern was a dick to everybody. That's understandable.
Right.
But Opie has always taken it very personally, and there's a story about because Opie would shit all over Stern on the radio. Anthony would chime in earlier on, but then it got pretty stale after 10 years of it. That Opie and Jimmy were in the hallway, and they ran into Stern, and Opie said 0 words, didn't say a word to him. So yeah, that's kind of
he showed
that's
him.
kind of who Opie is to he showed him big time. So somebody that would throw those poker chips like that. Must be a funny guy who's cool under pressure. Probably not a sensitive guy, right? Willing to do that to somebody else.
Right.
Probably not sensitive. And comedian Bob Kelly learned that Opie is indeed not sensitive at all.
He just didn't want to hear it.
It was a
Didn't
battle
wanna
of
hear
the
it.
brains, basically.
Yeah, but
we pride ourselves. We could yell and scream at someone
like no, like anyone. But
Were you going to say
sometimes-
nobody's business?
I'd rather make a valid
I call myself
point.
you asshole. So fuck you.
I'd
All right,
rather
there you
make
go. I like
valid
your
points with somebody.
Easy, Opie. Why do you fucking turn so quick?
Also, I'll respect
Take one hit and
people's-
you just want to stab somebody in the fucking face.
That's a good point.
Jesus.
Good point.
Okay, so now that
Good
might
point.
not be a
Good point.
Might not be a good point. I don't think so. Well, maybe. Here's Otto and
maybe.
George in studio on a day without Anthony.
Otto just walked in. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Otto.
We're watching a clip on The View where Bill Maher made a joke about Elizabeth Hasselbeck and she's annoyed. But fucking Joy Behar always sticks up for comedians because she's a real stand-up.
But I mean, she's
Love
annoyed
Joy
because the
Behar.
joke was about her. But her mistake is basically saying that it's not funny and no one should think this is funny, instead of saying it wasn't funny to me.
If I was at home and this show was on TV and I couldn't find a clicker and it was a handgun on the coffee table, I'd fucking use that on myself rather than watch this show. Are you kidding me?
It was a
This is what
handgun
you're
on the
fucking
table.
doing when Anthony's not here? He's a show into
Really?
shit.
Really? That's funny, Otto.
All right, I'm sorry.
That's funny,
It's a
Otto.
viral clip, all right?
He's just kidding.
Don't be so sensitive, man. I just had a rough experience getting up here, man.
What happened to you?
Yeah, he sounded concerned.
Yeah, what
Here's-
happened to you?
Yeah, what happened to you? Now, in our next clip, you need a little backstory.
Okay.
And the backstory is that Opie, for over a decade, would eat yogurt on the air.
Oh, that's
And-
that's a good idea.
And you could always hear the spoon rattling around in the plastic. You could just hear it all the time.
Right.
So during one show, Opie's trying to get some kind of a point out or story out, and Anthony's eating grapes. And Opie is annoyed by the grape eating, and Anthony,
Like a hypocrite would.
of course, and Anthony fires back like Anthony would, with a callback to a joke about the yogurt, which has been a joke on the show for a decade now.
Right, which is probably why he's eating the grapes.
And it is, and you're gonna hear exactly how this goes. Opie takes it well.
A lot of people.
Grapes.
You want to eat grapes, and we'll do this after the break.
No, that's okay.
A lot of people have had.
Why don't you eat yogurt?
Huh? I don't do that anymore.
I know. I just
I
started.
really don't. I realize that it's annoying, so I just like do it on the side.
All right, in 12 years, you could yell at me.
Whatever.
Come on, I'm fucking around. You're in a bad fucking mood.
I told you I
know,
been in a
but don't
bad
let
mood
it
for
affect
3
the
days.
fucking show. You're in a bad
Has
fucking
it?
mood.
Has it the last 2 days?
Yes, it has.
No, it hasn't.
It might have just actually. It might have just affected the show very aggressively. In retrospect,
Oh, he's the worst.
no, he's the best. I would disagree.
Right. Oh, that's right. Sorry. No,
Okay,
you know
now-
what? Season 2, I'm going to be much more adversarial to you. This guy is not a gentleman. I disagree with you.
How dare you?
He sounds like an asshole who has Down syndrome.
DC, he is not an asshole.
Gotta get Poe in here because we had Slash on the old radio show.
Slash.
And Poe felt a bit Oh, take your time, Poe. Poe. You know,
Poe.
it might be different.
saunters.
It might be different in the martial arts world. But
Look.
radio, you got to get right in.
I
and right to
saunter.
it. Right to it.
So he snaps.
It might
at
be
Poe
different
for a
in the
while.
martial arts world, but you're in my dojo now, buddy. Oh, fucking idiot.
Oh God. Now, DC, I know you know who Chip Chipperson is, but for anybody that doesn't know who Chip Chipperson is,
The
comedian
fucking
Jim Norton-
audacity of Opie to
Oh, yeah, it's a-
criticize someone's professionalism when it comes to broadcasting is so funny to me.
Oh,
Sorry,
there are
go
so
ahead.
many great clips post Opie and Anthony too that we aren't even going to cover tonight. These Opie updates. Now I know, like WATP and other people talk about Opie every week, but the
Yeah.
difference between
Yeah.
them and me is I still listen to old Opie and Anthony, and I can just bring old Opie updates whenever I feel like. So those will continue forever.
Good.
One thing I haven't done yet that I will be doing is building a compilation of the Opie Hold On. And the Opie Hold On, DC, if you don't know what that is,
No, I don't.
the Opie Hold On. So let's say you say, now this could be any scenario. It could be we're doing a bit, there's a naked lady in the studio and we're doing something, but I have an idea on how I want to change it. Or we're even just having
That's
a
a weird
discussion.
bit.
Well, it's an Opie and Anthony bit.
Oh, okay.
or we're talking about sports, and I decide before we continue, I want to look up statistics about whatever we're talking about. So,
oh no, he'll kill a bit.
If you would please, DC, if you would please any random subject, I would like you to just drone on for less than 10 seconds. And I will just
last
give an
night,
example.
the University of Utah was
okay. Hold on. There's highlights. We'll pull up the highlights. First.
We don't need to pull up the highlights, Opie. I'll just
Hold on.
Oh Lord.
So that would happen all the time. Now I mentioned Chip Chipperson.
Yeah.
Jim Norton.
I don't appreciate Chip Chipperson.
Well, we're going to test everyone's. We're going to test everyone's ability to stand Chip a little later on. But Chip is one of a few different characters in Jim Norton's head that he's made up over the years.
Uncle Johnny or something like that, or
Uncle Paul, the pedophile. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So
nibbling at it like a hamster water bottle. Sorry. Anyway,
it's
Google
one of the
it.
Best. It's one of the best.
Yeah.
So Chip started out. He basically is just a joke and bit ruiner. He's just awful, and everything he says
which is
not
hard.
funny.
It's hard to do on purpose.
Oh, it's really
hard
incredible
to do on
how-
purpose.
It's really incredible how well Jimmy does it. But over time,
It's like he's an anti-comedian.
yeah, it really is. See, that was close, but not quite.
Because I laughed. Because I fucking laughed. Damn it. All right,
right.
go ahead.
So again, that's kind of how we originated. I'm going to play an old school Chip bit coming up because Opie follows it beautifully. We'll test everyone's ability to stomach Chip at that point. But Chip has kind of changed since the breakup of Opie and Anthony, in that Chip's mannerisms have started to reflect or mirror that of Opie a little bit.
A little, yeah.
Maybe
It's
a little.
Uncanny.
So if you were wondering, that Master Poe snapping clip there, that was their security guard. If you'd kind of like a better visual, Chip gives it to us here.
Who are you snapping at?
Hey, let me get a piece of Melba toast.
Oh, Chip. I don't think people like being called that way.
Oh, they don't like being snapped at?
So we'll revisit Chip in a minute. Back to the good stuff. DC, we have a caller on the line on Opie and Anthony, and this caller is one of my favorite things, is bombing hard.
Okay.
Like, bombing hard. Like, he's got a couple of pre-worked out lines, and they do not land.
Good.
Luckily, for us, the listener, no one in studio lets him off the hook for these terrible lines.
My wife was finally giving me, it was that time of the decade to get a blowjob, and I guess that's not funny either.
I thought that was still the setup.
He was waiting.
Yeah, that was the setup.
He was waiting for the reaction.
He was waiting for a big laugh there.
Sir, let me ask you a question. Who in your life said to you...
Don't call me sir.
Yeah, who said to you,
Only
you're
when I get
funny?
pulled over do I get called sir.
Who's feeding you?
At least you had a joke for that, though. That was a good one.
Who's feeding you these lines? Your dog? Oh.
Okay, so Opie comes in with that line. Who's feeding you these lines of your dog? The listener has a follow-up question, and Opie actually does know what's going on, despite popular opinion.
Jimmy, you said that?
No,
sir.
Opie, the one that's not supposed to be funny on the show.
Sir,
Opie, the unfunny one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that one. Here's the clip where we find out about everybody's tolerance for the great Chip Chipperson. This clip does two things. It'll first tell us that, and it will second illustrate once again how Captain Opie knows what to do.
I don't know fruit. We
were talking about oranges this morning. You didn't know what a navel orange was.
Did you just get an orange?
Who the fuck doesn't know what a navel orange is?
Wait, hold on. What kind of orange? Hold on. Could you turn this off?
Sure.
Okay. Say navel orange, I'm going to fucking hit a home run.
Oh, okay.
Turn it back on.
It's on.
So what kind of orange did you have?
Well, I didn't. Opie didn't tell me because I don't know exactly what a navel orange is.
I'll bet the Marines don't eat it.
It's just so.
unfunny. I love the setup. Takes forever. Chip.
I love it.
Big laughs in the studio.
The payoff was worth it.
Oh,
Energy's
Nothing
up.
from Opie.
Yeah, you just spit it out immediately.
Clattering over the setup.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to Justin in Ohio. Justin.
He doesn't
That
want
was
to
like-
the support. He don't care about that.
Let's say hi to Dustin in Houston. Dustin.
Well, so what if you're doing that? You should be vacuuming too.
Dustin. Hey.
I had to leave the other chip line in there.
Oh, hi.
I couldn't help myself.
You should be vacuuming too. Oh man, dude, that's so funny.
Chip is so great.
He has no idea what to do in a room of comedians hitting back and forth off each other. He has no idea, and he's so uncomfortable.
Totally lost. Just completely lost. Now
let's go to Jamie in Houston. Oh, they're not there at all.
They're not even there.
Yeah. Like,
like
Opie, no one told you. No one told you there was a call from a Jamie in Houston. Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up back there.
Always be great. Patrice would be going off on women and race for 12 straight minutes. And then you'd get, let's go to Steven in Wisconsin. Steven. Am I on? Yeah, you're on, Steven. Oh, hey, guys. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Okay, Steven, go ahead.
Steven from Wisconsin, what'd you think about all that black stuff? Oh, you don't know any black people? No, of course not. You're Steven from Wisconsin. All right, next call.
Next up. All right, so DC, I'm going to explain another piece of the Opie and Anthony puzzle, which was when they went back to New York and they were on XM.
The multicolored puzzle piece you're talking about?
No, not that particular one. The walkovers. So when they were on XM, they were trying to rehabilitate their image a bit, and obviously the goal back then is to be on free FM radio. So they actually figured out a deal where they were going to do their full show on the XM platform, but from 6 to 9 a.m. or something, they would be on FM radio. And what that meant was that from 6 to 9 a.m. they record. It was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So they're doing morning FM radio and simulcasting it on XM. And then as soon as their shift on FM was over, what they would do is they would take satellite feed and a couple of microphones and the whole staff, and they would walk a couple blocks over to the XM studio and then go up the elevators and then finish the show for a couple hours in the XM studio.
Nice.
So the walkover was a thing that happened every single day during this time.
It's like on location every time.
Yep. And Opie had another one of his great moments where he brings me back. DC, what have we learned so far?
Oh, no.
Opie is great at physical comedy. Now, the person who posted this video added some of their own captions. I disagree with them because I think Opie did a great job here. But here's Opie once again coming through for us as they talk with Andrew, the homeless man.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? You guys, treat yourself.
What is
that?
Wow,
that
looks good, but I am not touching
You eat it, Andrew.
No, it's some kind of a cinnamon
shaky thing.
So he didn't think it was very nice. I thought it was great. Hilarious. So
hey, you know how many hours I had to beg for that cake? Like 30 minutes, but still, dude, that was really fucking mean.
What a dick. So eventually they end up Sirius XM. There's plenty more of Opie clips that we'll play in the future. But Opie and Anthony do break up after Anthony gets punched in the head in Times Square by a black woman who really made him mad, and he went on Twitter and said some things that Sirius fired him for. So then
wait, Anthony. Oh yeah, Anthony got fired for that.
Yeah,
right.
Anthony got fired for that. Yep. So Anthony disappears. Not a lot of not a lot of positive reviews in terms of Opie's fight for Anthony, as everyone knows they hated each other for quite a while toward the end.
Right.
So Opie stays on at SiriusXM, and so does Jimmy, only because Jimmy knows that the platform for his comedy is way bigger than it would be going with Anthony. So understandable, got to look out for your career. But that show was a hit. Opie and Jim Norton was amazing. And here's my favorite clip from that show.
He might have been a little extra sensitive, and David Spade was able to just tee him up right there, or the writers, whoever did it.
Yeah, I would say if your star is legitimately falling, plus you're in the newspapers for picking up trannies, you might be prone to be more sensitive to jokes.
How long was the tranny stage?
I don't remember. I just remember
That's why I said it, to be totally honest with you.
He said was, past tense.
Oh. We got that chemistry, brother. That's why I said that.
We got that chemistry, brother. That's why I said that line. Set you up perfect. How long was the tranny stage? Did you see that setup? You can now say how long
you see what I did
you were
there?
sleeping with trannies. You can do that now because of my the line that I said. We got that chemistry, brother.
Train wreck.
Opie and Jimmy didn't last long. Hard to believe.
It is.
So they hook up on the radio with, I think, 10 months left in their deal, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not take very long. Jimmy's a pretty fiery personality, and Opie's retarded. So without having the buffer of Anthony there to be funny with Jimmy.
Jimmy is a bully, and Opie is delusional. That's also another way to put that.
So Opie and Jimmy doesn't go well toward the end of their run. Opie takes vacation for like a month, and they bring in Sam Roberts, who was the ONA producer. Now he works for WWE, has his own terrible podcast. So they bring in Sam to host with Jim, just as like a temporary thing while Opie's gone. But in reality, they're like, Opie, we're going to move him to afternoons if he wants to stay, but he's losing his morning slot. So Opie does just that. He goes to the afternoons, and that show was amazing and definitely not the show of kind of an older guy who's trying to relive his youth. And I know that because this is how Opie talks.
I like that one.
Ain't no stopping us now, baby.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, you better believe that.
You're going to stop us, all right. There's the way they go afternoon, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that was the open that day to Opie's show. That show also did not last very long. Now, why? Was it because it was bad? No, it was because Opie took a picture of Roland, their booker, taking a shit over the stall in the bathroom and got fired. So,
what's wrong with that?
Apparently, you can't do it. So Opie gets fired.
You can't do it if you suck at your job.
That's right, and certainly don't tell the comedians in the studio about it, who will then bring it up on the air right after.
Yes. Oh my God. What is the purpose? Why would you ever need a picture of your dude coworker taking a shit?
Yeah, some big fat bald guy. You don't need that picture.
Female coworker
funny.
taking a picture of her. Yeah, because it was funny. You're right about that. It was funny, but female coworker, you take a picture of her taking a shit. You're like, man. I mean, to each their own, I guess. Different strokes for different folks. I can understand it, but I don't agree with it. Dude, I don't understand it, and I don't agree with it.
Yeah, there's no good reason. So the Opie Radio podcast is formed. The greatest podcast of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Famous for putting a Zune recorder in the middle of a table and talking to 4 guests. Or
in a crowded ass fucking bar in New York City where you can't hear anything or discern anything except Opie's. Like miraculously, you can always hear Opie making an ass of himself, but you can't hear anything else.
That part is very consistent.
Yeah.
Now, he has this weird thing, or at least he did, and this was consistent throughout their radio career, where Opie had a weird delusion of friendship with a lot of the guests that would come in, especially some of the regular guests that Jimmy would bring in. Opie would start to see himself like, for instance, they were talking one time about Colin Quinn had a barbecue. Nick DiPaolo had a barbecue and Colin Quinn wasn't invited. And Patrice is like, I didn't go to that one. I had my own barbecue. And Opie immediately chimes in like, hey, man, I keep telling you to invite me to your barbecues. It's like, well, you're not friends with Patrice O'Neal, so he's not going to do that. And this was a consistent thing, and it never was more apparent than this video being posted to Twitter a few years ago. My favorite Opie video to date.
Yo, Joe Rogan, I got a question for you. Saw that you were coming to New York City for the UFC, and I got excited. Haven't seen you in a while, so I DM'd you, and I also texted you saying, "Hey, man, why don't you do the Opie Radio podcast? It'd be great." I also said, "No pressure if you can't." Also said, "Congrats on the Netflix special, which was awesome." Also said, "Congrats on all the continued success. No pressure, but would love to have you on my podcast." And you never wrote me back. Huh? What's that about? I know damn well there was nothing I've done to you that would make you not even respond. So maybe you could explain why you didn't DM me back or text me back when I asked you to do the Opie Radio podcast.
The middle of the fucking road now.
All right. I do love you, and I do miss you. Just want an explanation. Peace.
So Opie's doing good there.
Tell me where you live. Tell me where you live. Dude, the fact that he opened that with like, yeah, and then I DM'd you. I must have been one of only maybe 40 DMs you had all day. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Also the fact that he's like
40,000. He probably gets 40,000 DMs a day. I would guarantee you he gets that many. Hey man, just wanted to know if you wanted to be on our podcast. It's called Two Goddamn Gentlemen. We're gonna nominate Opie and talk about what a dipshit he is. You want to be on our podcast, Joe Rogan? That would have as much of a chance of Joe Rogan seeing it as this crazy ass video until anybody with eyes saw it and posted it everywhere they could because this is gold.
He did eventually see it. There's a great clip of him talking to Anthony about it. So,
like, I'm sorry, man. I just
Rogan said that Opie said he tried to call him, and Rogan's like, he doesn't have my number. What is he talking about? He's trying to call me.
Yeah.
So we're
he
gonna
probably
have plenty
did.
more.
He probably did try to call him. It just wasn't his number.
It just wasn't his number. He just tried all the numbers. 1111112.
I tried 63 different numbers, Joe Rogan. 63? Motherfucker, did you how many area codes did you try?
Like,
yeah. I live in California, you idiot.
So DC, as we move forward, I will be finding more and more Opie clips, but I have a couple to close with.
Yeah, please.
First off, because I felt like you were missing out on some of the older stuff that I didn't cover.
Mm-hmm.
Some of Opie's habits, maybe, or personality traits.
Right.
So let's revisit Chip and Anthony. Kind of taking us back, making us feel like we're in the XM studio with our pal Zoe and A. Talking first about a habit Opie may have had on a daily basis.
Who got a guitar pick?
I know who has a nose pick.
Yep, me too. Boy, I don't miss that. Damn. One, you don't want to pay for lunch. You're never hungry. Garbage.
So that might have been a problem. And then maybe some fun personality traits, too, like I mentioned.
Who says that?
To Skippy Skinner. What do we got? What do we got?
What do I got? Anxiety. Severe.
Yeah. What do I got? Fucking busted funny bone. Garbage.
Now, joke all you want, Chip, because our last clip will prove that Opie's funny bone is just fine.
Just so angry. I've dealt with your fucking pussy for all these goddamn years. I want to get rid of my dick and balls, and I want to start dating men. God damn it! What's for dinner?
You like that, Travis?
I like what's going on.
What's going on
with Roland and Paul?
What's going on now?
Oh no!
What?
We found where Eric is.
Oh no! Opie Hughes, you like that, Travis? That joke I just did? No, I was actually laughing at what's happening in here. That was terrible. But your shit was awful. Was that a joke? Oh no!
No, dude. Keep trying though. But You don't
Good
have
effort.
to, though. Keep trying, but you don't have to.
You definitely don't want Anthony back. Okay. You got
oh, man. And now Anthony is successfully doing a show behind a paywall. And Opie, I really honestly haven't listened to WATP regular episode. I listened to the Dick Masterson crossover bonuses that they do, but I haven't listened to WATP. If he's still doing shows and being featured on WATP, there's like something wrong. Because the last time I heard anything about Opie was 2-3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, and he was just checking in to say something stupid on Twitter about the vaccine.
He doesn't say anything else.
Yeah. He's
doesn't
woke,
say-
dude. He's woke.
He certainly is. DC, that is it. Tell people where to do things.
Go to www.twogoddamngentlemen.com. Guys, tell your friends. You can vote on the gentleman there. You can find the links to the Patreon, the Twitter. You can vote on all the gentlemen, except for last seasons. So I guess you can only vote on the two gentlemen that we
Hold on. The search for the ultimate gentleman continues. Meeting adjourned.